Overlord takes two of my favourite themes and combines them into one for this movie. Number one, you've got the horror element. Number two is Nazi Germany and a heavy focus on the Nazi human experimentations and also the myths and legends that the Nazis supposedly had an interest in the occult. Now, Act 1 in this film, or the very beginning, sees a paratrooping team. We're introduced to a paratrooping team whose sole mission is to take out a radio tower that's on top of a church in this German town. And we're also treated to these awesome scenes of tens of thousands of ships in the ocean sailing into German grounds and also tens of thousands of aeroplanes everywhere. It's not long before this paratrooping team is shot down by Nazi soldiers. They crash land, some survive and end up taking refuge in one of the small towns nearby. That's when the second act begins and it really slows down there, but it was kind of necessary. We got to know what's actually going on behind the scenes. We're treated a little bit to an introduction of the zombie theme or what the experimentations are actually going on in this church, which they're supposed to infiltrate and take down that radio tower. And they take refuge in a house with a young lady, her brother, and an aunt who's actually infected, or the young lady says that she's actually sick, but what we actually find out is she's infected by this zombie virus. The Nazis have done something to her. So they take refuge in this house, and that's where the movie drags a little bit during the second act. Like, there are Nazi soldiers patrolling the town, and there's a curfew, and eventually they end up at that house, and there's a very close call, and some stuff happens. Like, I'm not going to reveal everything and ruin the entire movie for everybody. But the second act does drag a little bit, but it also does get into the aspect of the Nazis experimenting on humans, and we get a bit of a deeper vision into what's actually occurring. Then, in Act 3, things pick up again, the action begins, and of course, we see some zombie action, and it's kind of like a boss battle that we're treated to towards the end in the third act. We don't see too many like zombie-like soldiers, it's more failed experiments that are being destroyed by the Nazis. They're obviously probably like a little bit fresh into these experimentations, so they're far from ready, but there is, like, without giving too much away, there's kind of like a zombie boss battle towards the end. And personally, I would have liked to have seen some more zombie action, like, leading up to that. But it is very story-driven and kind of like a bit of a slow-burn movie when it comes to the second act. But like I said, first scene was like, wow, it really opened up with a bang. And this was leaning towards like a 12 out of 13 rating, if not maybe 13, depending on, you know, how it would go from there. Second act definitely dragged a little bit, but I was never actually too bored. It just did feel like it was dragging a little bit, but it was definitely necessary to keep the story moving along. And also, even though it was predictable, I still enjoyed watching it the entire time. And then Act 3, bang, we're treated to some action again. Probably not quite as good as the opening scene, but definitely enjoyable to watch. Lots of eye candy happening. I just feel like there should have been a little bit more zombie action, especially leading into this big boss battle that you see towards the end. But other than that, the movie was quite enjoyable. It's good. It's definitely not like fantastic or excellent. I would probably watch it again, but I'd have to actually think about whether or not it's something that I would buy on Blu-ray or DVD to add to my collection. It's something that I might invest in if it was on special or something like that, but would I go out of my way and actually need to buy it ASAP? Not really. Do I need to watch this film again really soon? No, not really. Is it going to have a cult following anytime soon? Probably not. But it is good, it's enjoyable, and for me, it brings two of my favorite themes together, which I guess I have a little bit of a bias towards that, but that's not going to affect my score here. So overall, the movie is good, but it doesn't really have anything too special, and I wouldn't say it's an excellent movie. It definitely has some flaws, definitely drags on a little bit, especially in the second act, and I would have liked to have seen some more zombie action along the way before this epic boss battle at the end. So, on the scale of 13, your creepy uncle gives Overlord a well-deserved 8. This movie is worth watching for sure, even in the theaters, because the sound is definitely phenomenal in this film, especially in that first scene. Sound-wise, definitely worth watching in the theater, or if you have like a really good home theater at home, just wait to watch it at home, that's totally fine. Definitely worth watching once. You'll enjoy it. It's not boring at any time and you won't be disappointed. But is it something that's going to be a cult classic or something you have to have in your collection? Maybe not, which is why it gets an 8 out of 13. So above average, good type of movie. Thank you all very much. Don't forget to subscribe. And, of course, keep coming back to visit your creepy, damn, hairy uncle.